what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Toys, the Predator, Fugitive Predator. So let's get into it right away and take a quick look at this cool looking box. So for the packaging, NECA gave us a box this time instead of the really bad blister card style packaging, and I hope they continue using boxes because they're just much better and much more collector friendly. So on the front of the box here, we do get the Predator target lock-on symbol, says the Predator. Then we do get a really badass image of the Fugitive Predator. Then on the bottom says ages 17 and up, Fugitive Predator, ultimate action figure. Then you can flip this open here, and on the left, we do get an image of the figure. Then on the right, we do get the window displaying the figure and the accessories. And on the bottom of the box here, we do get the barcode and blah blah blah, so if nobody cares about that, it shows everyone who was in on this project. Then here is the top of the box, and then the one side of it, and then the other side of the box does have that really cool image of the Predator again. Then on the back, it does show a bunch of cool poses you can get the figure into, along with some of the accessories. And you do have a little bio right there, so if you would like to read it up, you can pause it right now and read it on up. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure over to take a closer look at this Fugitive Predator. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and once again, NECA did a beautiful job with the detail when it comes to a Predator figure. The biomask is definitely my favorite part about this figure, and I do like his mask a lot more than I originally did from just seeing it in pictures. Now having the figure in hand and seeing it up close, it's actually a really cool looking biomask. I love the paint all throughout it, the gray mixed in with the black and the gold, and you get some nice clean paintwork all throughout it. I like how we have like a glossy black on the eyes, the visor right there. I just love the tiny sculpt and paint detail around the mouth area and the cheeks. I think that looks really cool. And you can see some of his face and his head under the biomask, which look pretty cool. Very nice paintwork on it and sculpt. And then we do get the Pred dreads, which are mostly black with some silver like jewels in them. And then on the tips of his hair, it's kind of like a grayish white type color, which is kind of different. Maybe he's becoming an elder Predator, that's why they're turning that color. And then the plasma caster, you can't remove it unless you take the pin out of this hinge, and I do have a QC issue with that. The pin keeps coming out and it's just not staying on there well, and it's just so loose, so that is definitely a bit disappointing. So some people might have that issue, why others don't, but the plasma caster itself looks sick. Now for the armor on the torso, I'm not really a big fan of the design of it. NECA did a beautiful job with the paint and sculpt all throughout it. Looks like we have some battle damage on the left side, unless that is a QC issue, but it looks like battle damage to me. And it is a soft rubbery type plastic, so it will not hinder any of the torso articulation, as you can see right there. And you do see a little bit of the skin around the mid-torso with the netting on there, and we get some nice paint and sculpt all throughout it. And then the back here, I really dig the look of the spine piece. I think that looks really cool, and his armor kind of looks like chainmail in a way. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? Same with the shoulder armor is a softer rubbery type plastic, and we do get some nice paint and sculpt on each side, as you can see right there. And then for the arms, we do get the mixture of the color of his skin, like the yellow, beige, and that coppery orange type color, I guess. And then we do get the black specks all throughout it. Elbow joints look great. The gauntlets or forearm armor is another one of my favorite parts about the figure. It just has some excellent detail all throughout it. Nice beautiful paintwork and very nice sculpt as well. And then for the waist here, we do get some more armor on his underwear piece. As you can see, we do get some closed up shurikens on each side, and it kind of has that chainmail type look. And the crotch piece is a softer rubbery type plastic, so it won't hinder too much of the leg articulation. Then we do get the butt flap piece, which actually looks really cool. It has some very nice paint and nice sculpt as well. And then under it, we get the Predator chainmail underwear. Now for the legs here, we do get some thigh armor, which actually are separate pieces, so you can remove them if you really wanted to. They are a softer rubbery type plastic, but we get some beautiful paint and sculpt all throughout them. Same with on the skin with the netting and everything, and the mixture of the skin tone color for this Predator here. And the lower legs, I do have a little crack right there. I just noticed that actually. But we do get some nice paint and sculpt all throughout the lower legs there. Some sculpted wrinkles on like the calves. And then we get some armor around the ankles, which is a softer rubbery type plastic, so it won't hinder too much of the ankle articulation. And then we do get the Predator feet that has some nice sculpt and paint all throughout it, as you can see there. And then we do get straps that are connected to his lower leg armor that do continue with the sculpt and paint on the bottom of the foot. But overall, I think NECA once again just did a fantastic job with another Predator figure, and I don't think they could have done any better of a job when it comes to the detail. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get some pretty damn cool stuff included with this Fugitive Predator. So we do get two alternate heads or faces, we do get the masked one, and then we do get the unmasked one. So we do have the masked one here that we did already take a look at before, and like I said before, they did a beautiful job with the detail all throughout it, and this is definitely my favorite out of the two. So we do get that one, and then we do get the unmasked one, and some people do prefer the unmasked look compared to the masked look. Me, I always prefer the masked look. I always think their biomasks make them look more badass. The unmasked one makes them look more alien-like, I guess, and scary looking, you know what I mean? But they did a beautiful job with the detail all throughout it. Eyes both painted looking in the same direction. The head has some nice paint and sculpt going on there. The mouth, the mandibles, and everything, the teeth just look great. And then the dreads, great job with them as well. They are that softer, rubbery type plastic also. The only issue about swapping the heads is it's a pain in the ass to do it, and the neck joint always pops off with the head. So you're going to have to get like some tissue and then grab some pliers, put the tissue over the ball peg right there, put the pliers over the tissue, and then pull the joint out. Or you could just run it under hot water and try to get it out like that. But they're really difficult swapping out the heads. So we do have those two alternate heads. And then we also get two sets of wrist blades, a pair for each arm, and these are probably my favorite accessories along with the biomask, and I love the silver paint that they chose for the blades. It has a nice metallic look to it, and the blades are a bit sharp, so be careful of that. And we do have some nice sculpt all throughout them as well, and I'm going to show you how to put them on and what they look like on the figure in a second. And the way you get the wrist blades on the Predator is fairly simple. You just take this piece right here and just peg it into these slots. And just try not to hit them after you peg them in, because they will fall out, which gets a bit irritating. So it can kind of be annoying getting them on, but if you really don't knock any of them out, then it's really not that big of a deal. But if you like bump into them with your hands, they're going to pop out, because they're not in there entirely securely, you know what I mean? But they are in there secure enough, like they're not going to fall out or anything like that. So that's definitely good. And once you have them on the figure, I feel like it makes this figure look so much better. I feel like wrist blades on a Predator make them look even more badass. So we do get the Predator blades, and then we finally get two pairs of interchangeable forearms, and then we do get 4 alternate hands. So we do get the gauntlet forearms, or the armored forearms, with the fists, and this is what comes on the figure out of the packaging. And we already took a look at the gauntlets, but the fists have some very nice detail all throughout them with the paint and sculpt, and the hands are fairly easy to swap out. It's just scary because I feel like the wrist peg might break or something like that. So they're not difficult swapping. It's just a bit scary when you swap them out. So we do get a pair of fists, and then we do get the gauntlet forearms, and then we do get the bear forearms with a pair of open hands. And I like the texture of the skin, the paint of it looks great. We get all the black dots all throughout it. His claws are a bit sharp, so be careful of that. But I do like the sculpt on the palm of the hand. That looks really cool. And the forearms are pretty simple to swap out. The gauntlet ones are much easier. The bear ones are a bit more difficult getting on and popping off. You're going to have to use a bit of force. Just be careful not to break the elbow peg right here. But it is definitely cool that they did include some alternate forearms, since you do see him with and without his armor in the movie. But anyway, that is all the accessories included with the Fugitive Predator. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of this Fugitive Predator. To the very top of his head or biomask, it looks like he's around 8.5 inches tall. And then here he is compared to some other NECA Predator figures. We have the Jungle Extraction Dutch, the Scarface Predator, the AVP Elder Predator, and the AVP Masked Scar Predator. And then here he is compared to the NECA original movie TMNT Raphael and Donatello, the SH Monster Arts Wolf Predator, and the Variable Action Heroes Past Blue Monkey D. Luffy. And then here he is compared to the Storm Collectibles Sub-Zero, the SH Figuarts Sage Mode Naruto, the Figma Deadpool, and the Marvel Legends Cable. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, and out of every NECA Predator figure that I have owned, this one has the best type of movement, and I feel like the armor not being as bulky as some other Predators does help out with the articulation on this. I do have a QC issue, which we'll go over in a second, but we do have a ball peg that connects into the neck and the torso right there, and then a peg that connects into the head, so you can get the Fugitive Predator to look up a really good amount. Does look down pretty well also. We do get some really nice pivot, as you can see there, and then of course it does swivel, and the dreads are such a soft, rubbery type plastic, it really does not hinder his head or neck articulation at all. And the plasma caster here is on a hinge where it connects into the armor, and then another hinge at the top, and then where the cannon is connected, it is on a ball peg, so it can pivot a little bit and swivel around. I just have an issue with the lower hinge with the pin that keeps popping out, and it's so loose on mine. It's just really bad, so that is a bit of a QC issue right there. Some people might have it, some people may not, so you might want to check yours when you get it. Now for the torso here, we do get a pretty good joint at the torso. The armor really does not hinder it at all. It doesn't go back too much at the torso, but it does go forward a decent amount, as you can see right there. And then we do get pretty good pivot out of the torso, and then it does swivel. The waist doesn't go forward too much, but it does go back a really good amount. So the torso goes forward better, but the waist goes back better. So with both joints combined, he does crunch forward pretty well, and then both joints combined going back, he does go back decently. And then we do get some pretty good pivot at the waist, and then of course some swivel. So combining both the joints, you do get some decent torso and waist articulation. Now for the arms here, they kind of did something a little different compared to what we usually see with our Predator figures, unless they have done it before and I just never owned one of those figures. But we do have the basic shoulder articulation. The shoulder armor is a softer rubbery type plastic, so it really won't get in the way too much. I can't get mine to go out 90 degrees. The joint's really tight at the shoulder. You might be able to get yours too, but mine goes out about that much. It does go up and down. We don't have the upper bicep swivel. They did it at the elbow joint, so it's kind of like a lower bicep swivel, as you can see right there. So we do have a double jointed elbow that bends in a little more than 90 degrees, so pretty good movement at the elbow, and then it does swivel where the joint connects into the bicep, and of course we get the swivel at the gauntlets right there. And when I swapped out the forearms, this one, my right gauntlet got really loose, so that kind of does suck. And for some reason with the wrists, they went back to a hinge and swivel for the Predators. I don't like that they did that. I prefer the ball peg because you can move the hands and any type of movement you would like, unlike a hinge and swivel where you can only swivel it and hinge it back and forth the one way. So to me that's a little disappointing. It's kind of like they backtracked with their wrist articulation. Now for the legs here, this is my big QC issue. As you can see, my left leg hangs lower than my right leg, and NECA told me to push it back up and it should be fixed, and it does work, but every time I articulate the leg out to the side, it pops back out and gets lower than the right leg again. So that is a bit of a QC issue right there. Some people might have it, some people might not, so you might want to watch out for when you get yours. But the legs do kick forward almost 90 degrees, which is definitely good. They do go to the back about 45 degrees, and then the Fugitive Predator can Jean-Claude Van Damme it, so that is definitely a big plus right there. We do have a nice upper thigh swivel. We do have double jointed knees that bend back all the way, then it does swivel where it connects into the thigh. And then for the ankles here, they do swivel. They hinge up a pretty good amount actually, hinge down pretty well also, and then we do get a very nice ankle pivot. I believe they're on a ball peg. Some joints might get loose, so you need to be a little careful. That is kind of known for NECA, so just be a little careful articulating your figure a little too much because you might cause some looseness in the joints. But overall, I think NECA really worked in the articulation very well on this Fugitive Predator, and like I said, I feel like this is the best type of movement we got with any of their Predator figures in their Predator line. And you're going to be able to get this Fugitive Predator in almost any type of pose you'd like, and I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the NECA Fugitive Predator. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd have to give it a 7.5. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did get mine on an early limited release from NECA's store on Amazon, so if you want to get yours earlier, you could head over to Amazon, or you could wait till it releases nationwide later on in the month. And for your other figures and collectibles, you could always go to my buddy's shop, agelessgeeks.com, or you can go through their Instagram or Facebook group. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, oh well, I guess you didn't like it. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. Boxes, because they're so much better and much more collector friendly. So friendly. So on the front of the box here, we do get the Predator. This is the Predator. Then we do get a really cool image of the Fugitive Predator. They're on. Oh my God! This is ages 17 and up. Fugitive Predator. And then we do get the window displaying the figure and the accessories. So now for the articulation and out of every. So now for the articulation and out of. They are a bit sharp, so be careful of that. And then we just. So we do get the gauntlet forearms with the forearms. Why did I say that all weird? Damn it. It's nice texture all throughout the skin of the Predator, and the forearms are pretty simple.